Hello, everyone. Welcome once again. We don't need that yet. Welcome once again to the Movie Battleground, another glorious edition of the Movie Battleground. Why is it so glorious? Well, because you've got me, Austin Pez Howell, guest hosting again. You've been seeing a lot of me lately, but guess what? I've been kind of getting into the hosting rhythm, so I'm really enjoying it, having a good time watching these matches, not so much playing in them. So no, I'm not playing in it tonight. You'll have to get your hopes up and seek out other videos if you want to see me in action. But tonight we do have two incredible competitors that I can't wait to see go at it tonight. Just a quick reminder, anything going on in the recent world of the Movie Battleground up on the channel. We've got Jeremy Adams versus Alan Shepard, great match going up, and the return of Jacob Barber back to the Battleground against Dean Lewis, a hot up-and-coming competitor. We've got a TMNT exhibition, all kinds of good stuff going up on the channel. But tonight we have two, like I said, great competitors who are kind of right on the verge of getting to title contention, and them each of them getting a possible win tonight could definitely throw them into that mix, into that picture. It should be an absolutely spectacular matchup. I'm not going to waste too much time here with all these fancy intros. I'm just going to get things going and start talking to the competitors. So introducing first, with a record of 5 wins, 4 defeats, 1 knockout, please welcome Noah McCausland. Noah, what's going on, my brother? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to be back. I feel like it's been a while. I'm not excited about who I'm facing, but I'm excited to play again because I always have fun with these things.
Well, I mean, you've played 1 match this season so far, and you've won that match, so that's got to be a good start going into kind of the new season. And yeah, you're kind of in a similar position that I was not too long ago, with sort of a 5-4-ish kind of record. But could definitely propel yourself with a good win. But Maher, how do you feel about going into this one with the Madeeh, a guy you know pretty well?
I don't feel good. I mean, I like my choices, not to spoil anything, but
Sure.
I just feel unprepared. Just some behind the scenes stuff, some personal stuff interfered with preparation more than usual. So I'm not as prepared going into this, and I think he's going to see that, and I'm like really sure he's going to win this one.
Hey,
I'm pretty sure I faced him
what
before.
I would do, man. BS your way through it as best as humanly possible. Make up whatever you got to make up. Just do what you got to do, man. But you got to have a little confidence. I mean, your only losses recently are to Amaru, who went on to win the title, and Joe Farrelly, a former champion. So, I mean, you're kind of like me, and as well as like the people you've lost to are like title contenders, like big time players. You know what I mean? Who went on to big and great things. So, don't sell yourself too short, Noah. I have a feeling you're going to do very well.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, I'm here for fun too, and you guys can see that last match against his name I'm forgetting right now for some reason, but we were just having a good time. We were just enjoying it, bouncing back off each other, just talking about movies. So I'm excited to do that today too.
Hey, nothing wrong with having a little fun, man. But I am going to talk to that guy now that you are facing tonight. So I'm going to drop you out and bring him. Introducing second, his opponent, with a record of 6 wins, 3 losses, with 1 knockout, Mr. Madeeh or Rehman. Madeeh, what's going on, sir? How are you?
Every time someone reads out my record, I'm like, that's not me. There's no way. But it shouldn't be that good. It should be the other way around. No, man, I'm doing good. I might look tired, but that's because I think now I'm just perpetually tired and just in that state. But you know what? We're going through it. We're living.
Well, I feel just like you do when I'm literally doing shows about every night on YouTube, and I also have to.
I don't know how you do it. Honestly,
and I have to work a job in the morning where I got to wake up at like 4 a.m. So which
I get a message from people like, "Hey, you want to shop on the stream?" And I just get home. I'm like, I want to, but god damn it, I need to like just.
I'm the other way where I'm just like, I don't really want to, but like. I'm a single dude and I'm lonely, so this is my peoples,
That's fair. That's fair.
It's
fair.
like it's my connection to the world. So
I got you.
Yeah, man, you're also coming off of your first match in this season was a win, just like Noah. Yep. So you guys are very similar, both kind of in records and in your past play. So a guy again you know pretty well. So from this community. So how do you like your chances going into tonight?
First of all, I do hope that we have fun. Noah, honestly, let's put all our cards on the table. We've both been busy recently. There is 8 total movies that I was planning on watching before this match. I saw 4 of them. So this is gonna really be a demonstration of how well we can bullshit. Because
if what you're saying is the audience watching at home can play a game where they guess which movies you didn't.
Oh, I 100% want the audience to play. So listen, Noah, I don't know how many of these movies you watched. I know how many I watched. But if anyone at home is just like, okay, I think he watched that one, or I think he knew this one. I really want everyone to just be like, that's the one he watched, or like, and then like write it down on their card, like I picked these 4, and then just see what goes on. Man, life has been tough, but
hey, listen,
nobody knows more than me, man. Noah's a great guy.
I get you, man. Sometimes, prepping for these shows and balancing real life and balancing other shows and whatever else in between can be rough. But you almost wish you had like a month to prep instead of like 2 weeks. But it's
straight up. It'd be amazing if I had like an extra month, but then I'd still be busy. So it's like, all right.
Right, yeah.
But no, listen, Noah is an awesome human being. I've never played against him. I've never competed against him in any way, but I have seen him compete, and he's seen me compete in like various judging stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
He's a really cool guy, and he seems like he is planning on having a lot of fun, and so am I. So this should be just however long this takes of us shooting shit and bullshitting movies.
Well, we'll see, man. I like your questions. I think it'll still be a good match. I think you guys will make it a good match. So let's see what happens. All right. Well, I'm going to drop you off.
The audience is in for something.
Oh, for sure. I'm going to drop you off, and I'm going to get into the rules, man, and we'll get this thing going, all right? See in just a second. All right, but as for that, I'll explain a little bit for anybody possibly watching for the first time, tuning in. I don't know what just jumped on my camera. Anyways, the Movie Battleground is a best of 5 points match format. Each round will be worth 1 point. If you can get those 3 points in a row, those first 3, you'll win by that elusive knockout. If we have a tie, 2-2, after 4 rounds, we go to the blind round. I won't explain the blind round just yet, but if we do get there, I will further explain how that works. What is going on here? There you go. Something got on my camera. Maybe I spit on it. I don't know. But, that's how things work. Anyways, that's how that works. The actual rounds go like this. The first stage of the round will be each guy will get a 60-second opening argument followed by a 2-minute expansion, also solo. And then my favorite part of the debate always, the 4-minute open debate where both guys will be on screen and can yell at each other all they want to and have a lot of fun. And then finally a 60-second closing argument, at which point we will go to our judges. And I have 3 lovely judges backstage, raring and ready to go, ready to take their notes, ready to with their whiteboards. Ross, Nicholas, and Andrea, thank you all so very much for joining us. We'll go to you as soon as this first question is done. But for right now, I think we're almost ready to get going. So I'm going to bring my competitors back on screen. And what do you say you guys get things going? You got any questions for me? Any final words? Any final trash talk? No, you guys are too nice for that, right?
No, he's Canadian. Yeah. I'm just.
This isn't like me and Henry. It's going to be way too nice. So no, I get it.
That's fun for a different reason.
Yes, right. All right. So what we're going to do, guys, for our first question, we had the Oscars not too long ago. And there was a real success story of Everything Everywhere All at Once, a movie that this was this underground movie that kind of came out of nowhere and really was a crowd pleaser and actually got some love at the Oscars. So we're going to talk the Oscars, but kind of another route. And we're going to ask the competitors which film released all the way back in the year 2018, so 5 years ago, should have received more recognition at the Oscars, either getting wins, getting just nominations for different aspects of their movies. And both these guys have really good answers here. So we're going to see what happens here as we get these guys going. I am going to drop myself out, as you can see there. I am going to bring up our wonderful, wonderful timer. If that'll actually bring up. There it is. There it is. I got it now. There it is. See, Noah, I do have a timer. I wasn't lying. And here's what we're going to do. Noah elected to go first on questions 1 and 3. Madeeh will be going first on 2 and 4. So, Noah, I will begin that timer for your first 60 seconds whenever you are ready, sir, to get this thing going.
Alex Garland showed his talent in 28 Days Later, which was his first writing credit on a film. He later then cemented himself as a great sci-fi writer and director with Ex Machina, and then, and possibly follows Ex Machina up with the genius and hauntingly beautiful Annihilation. This is the movie I feel like does not get remembered for the masterpiece it is. And it certainly didn't receive the recognition it should have at the Oscars, by not even being nominated for anything. And I have a couple genres I believe it should have at least been nominated for. But it's an absolute travesty that this was not recognized at all at the Oscars, and other films were put in places it could have been.
Okay, so Noah, they're going with Annihilation. Let's find out what Madeeh chose for his topic. Sir, I will start that timer back up whenever you're ready.
So, the year we're talking about is 2018, and a fair amount of the movies that were pushed for the Oscars that year were all movies about either people of color or from people with color. So we had Roma from Alfonso Cuarón, we had Black Panther, we had Green Book, and we had, Black Klansman from Spike Lee. Now, some of the other movies were less about race and things like that, but one of those things that should have been nominated, one of those films that should have been nominated, that did talk about race and did talk about gentrification, incarceration, things like that, that are very strong in people of color communities, is a film called Blind Spotting. It's the directorial debut of a Carlos Lopez Estrada, and it stars David Diggs and Rafael Casa as their respective characters. This film is a fantastic film that was severely overlooked, not only by the Academy, but basically by everyone. It was a very small budget film, made a little bit of money, and it was also, like Annihilation, shut out from the Oscars.
All right, time for Madeeh, and we will bounce back to you, Noah, for your next 2-minute solo time, your 2-minute expansion, and I will start that clock whenever you begin speaking.
I'm not even saying that this film should have been nominated for Best Picture, which, by the way, if it was, you could have easily taken Vice out of the nomination for Best Picture, because the only thing holding up that movie really is Christian Bale and nothing much else. But it should have been at least nominated for visual effects, sound editing, and sound mixing. And it wasn't even nominated. It wasn't even talked about. The shimmer is absolutely gorgeous. The way that this alien biology mixes and remakes all of this organic biology in the shimmer is absolutely beautiful. The animals dying with that bear is terrifying, and the crocodile is just done so well that it wasn't even nominated. The shimmer wasn't even nominated. These aliens are beautiful and just gorgeous and wasn't even nominated. The sound design, that last 30 minutes where it was just filled with this weird futuristic alien sound, is gorgeous, and it fits the movie so well, and it works for the movie, and it's not even nominated, it's not even recognized, and these other films are put there instead, some of which I'm looking up now. Stuff like, I'm pulling it up because I'm not ready. Black Panther. I mean, that's a good movie, but I don't feel like its sound design or mixing was as good as Annihilation was. And you're talking about your movie Blind Spotting. It's a good movie. I'm not going to lie, but there's problems with it that I'm going to talk more about. And this is your director's first debut. So he's got a lot to learn because he was directing music videos before this.
All right, and time on Mr. Noah. Madeeh, we will go back to you for your 2-minute expansion whenever you're ready.
Mute myself first. Okay, so yeah, it's his first directorial effort, but that doesn't really mean that he's not worthy of it. It's Alex Garland's second directorial effort that you're putting out, and again, I don't think he was worthy of it. Ex Machina was probably the movie that he should have been nominated for over Annihilation, and anytime that someone's like, if you would put Annihilation forward instead of Ex Machina, it would have been like Pacino winning for like Dog Day Afternoon or Scent of a Woman or something like that. When it's not his best, it's just like, oh, we probably should have recognized them earlier, but whatever, we missed it. Now you talked about the VFX of your movie. Actually, you know what, I'll say that for later. One of the things I do want to say is that year's Oscars were very subpar, if we're going to be honest. I mean, Green Book winning Best Picture is a whole other thing that I can get into. Bohemian Rhapsody being nominated for Best Picture is a travesty on its own. Roma and Vice, what were the other nominees? The Favorite. A lot of the movies that were nominated that year were not great. Like, they were fine, but they don't really deserve the honor of being put up for Best Picture or even winning it. That was the year that Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga had their, like, what was it, like the 8th remake of A Star Is Born or whatever it was. There was a lot that year that was just like, what the hell is going on? And then you have a film like Blindspotting, which in a very inventive and brilliant way tackles a lot of the issues that were pressing America and the Western society in that world, and it was completely ignored. Annihilation is fine, but you said it in your opening, man. People forget about it. And there's a reason people forget about it, because other than the bear, like, it's not really that memorable of a movie. And it's fine. Like, it's not bad. It's just fine.
Time on the D. So that'll be our 2-minute expansions. We go to one of my favorite parts now, the 4-minute open debate. Both guys can talk against one another, and I'll begin that timer when the first competitor starts speaking.
All right. So I do want to say this. You wanted to put Annihilation up for VFX as a nomination.
And sound editing and sound mixing.
I know. Sound editing, sound mixing. I'll be honest, I don't really understand sound mixing or sound editing and how they're different, but that's not for me to understand. The VFX stuff I do know a little bit more about, and to say that your VFX are better than the ones that were nominated is kind of strange. I could say, yeah, sure, maybe some of the VFX could go in there, but you have the Solo Star Wars story, which
the only two
great movie it was. It still had good VFX. Avengers: Infinity War, Ready Player One, First Man, which won, and then Christopher Robin. Like, all of those movies have really very good VFX in there. So you're not really.
I'm not trying to say that they don't have good visual effects, but the movie that I would have taken out of there would have been Christopher Robin, because the visual effects of the shimmer itself, the bear, the crocodile, the aliens at the end, everything you see in the shimmer is absolutely stunning and mind-blowing, and it gets no attention. And I feel like the weakest link in the visual effects would have been Christopher Robin, and you can easily take that out and replace it with Annihilation.
That's just saying that there's more visual effects in Annihilation.
I'm not saying that there's more. I'm just saying that they were better.
I wouldn't say that. I think Christopher Robin's effects are damn near seamless. Like, it's a smaller scale for sure, but the visual effects that they do are done fantastically. Like, it's really well done, even though it is on a smaller scale. But it still deserves a nomination because of
even with like sound editing or sound mixing, I would have loved to take, again, First Man out of there. Black Panther has a good score and everything, and it's a great movie. But to be nominated for sound editing or sound mixing when you have something like Annihilation, which I'm going to give one example. The bear screech of it being its last victim is haunting, and it's been in everyone's minds ever since they watched it. Not to mention that last 30 minutes that I've already mentioned before. But if we're going to talk about your movie, you haven't even put up what you would nominate it for.
I can go there.
And
I can go there.
But also, like, it's a good movie and it has a good message about it. But the dialogue just gets downright cheesy when the boys talk to the girls. The movie jolts in and it fits and starts with scenes that don't always move the story along. Like you said, it's a good movie, and it's a good first directorial debut. But it definitely shows that he has a lot to learn and a lot to master before I feel like he reaches that level of Oscar noms.
So I think if you really want to go there, I can. So I think Daveed Diggs should have been up for Best Actor, and I personally would have taken him over Viggo Mortensen in Green Book. I'm not saying Viggo Mortensen was good or wasn't good, but I'm not saying he was up there with Best Actor. Raphael Caswell was borderline, I thought, for Best Supporting Actor, and I would have put him over Sam Elliott in Star Is Born.
That's absolute travesty because
No
Sam
way.
Elliott becomes that character.
Sam
does
Elliott
such
is
a
playing
role
a version
of playing
himself. He's not really
playing that
doing
foil for.
Oh my
for,
god, he's
for,
not that good at that. He's fine. He's
Cooper.
Sam Elliott. Again, he's Sam Elliott. He's not doing anything else. I also put this one up for Best Editing because the editing in this film is done very well. I think a lot of times people put Best Editing up and then they think, oh, what's the most edited movie? Kind of like how, other nominees were that year, but I wouldn't say that. I think the score should have been up there, definitely over Mary Poppins Returns. And I think it goes over in Best Picture. I think, especially over something like Green Book, which won. It's a better way to tell that story that Green Book did.
Right, time on the open. All right, we will go back to Noah to wrap things up with your 60 seconds, sir, whenever you're ready to close out.
Everyone who's seen those movies that you said you would replace has a very good reason why they would fit Viggo Mortensen in there. Sam Elliott, who has a very emotional scene with Bradley Cooper in which he is breaking down, is like, you were like my dad. I honestly can't remember the full line, but it's along that feeling. And to have it go for Best Picture when this is your first directorial debut is not a good fit, honestly, because it's a good movie and a good message, but it has faults with its pacing and the way that it tells its story. I'm not saying that Annihilation should have been Best Picture or Best Director. I'm saying it should have been special effects, which if you've seen the movie, the beautiful flora that it has in there, the way that these people interact with the shimmer is beautiful, as well as the sound, which I've already talked about. Not only the last 30 minutes, but the entire film has great sound mixing and editing.
All right, time. And Madeeh, we'll go back to you to wrap it up with your 60 seconds, sir, whenever you're ready.
So the VFX in Annihilation are fine. The sound mixing and sound editing, it's basically just someone asking a dubstep artist to do a score and soundtrack for a film. That's really what Annihilation is. Yes, The Bear is terrifying, but you're not going to give an Oscar for one thing that you did that lasted 5 minutes in a 2-hour movie. Blind Spotting is a fantastic film. It's truly wonderful. And the fact that so many films that were about the same topic got nominated and actually won when Blind Spotting did that story and did it better and covered those topics better is a travesty. Sure, you don't want Sam Elliott not nominated? Fine. Sam Rockwell was also nominated for playing George Bush in Vice. You said it yourself. Vice was not really that great, so you can knock him out of there as well. You also could have gone with original screenplay, which had Vice, Roma, First Reformed, Favorite, and The Green Book, which again won. A lot of these films were not that good and were telling stories about Black people in a not very great way. Blind Spotting did it better. There's so much that could have been. Fuck.
All right. Sorry, Madeeh, but that is time. I got to cut you off when time's up. I'm sorry about that. But that's the way things go. So not so much a fact check. It's more of an astonishing fact. I did not know Star is Born has been remade 4 times. So there's 5 total adaptations of this thing. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And
it's like, best screenplay. No, it's the same screenplay.
If you guys are complaining about Batman's parents being killed over and over again, or Uncle Ben dying over and over again, good Lord, this singer's got a lot of shots in movies. Jesus, what is going on with that? That's kind of crazy. So yeah, it might as well be 8 or or 10 times, like Madeeh said. Jeez, enough already. All right. Anyways, let's put this thing to bed. But good start as usual, guys. I appreciate it. Really good debate to get things going. I'm going to bump you guys to the back and bring in our judges, and let's find out who actually won this thing. So, yeah, not so much a fact check, just more of a baffling statistic that even caught me off guard. I just had to look it up. So we've got our lovely judges here, Ross, Nicholas, and Andrea. Thank you so much, judges, for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this debate. It's been very good so far with the first question. But we'll go in the order that you guys entered the stream. So Ross, Bristow, if everybody has their answers written down, let's find out what you got. Ross, who do you got and why?
I went with Madeeh is because like he brought up more counterpoints about like how the Oscars should not nominate like one creature for 5 minutes. Like he talked about like his screenplay and like his directing and then the acting. So yeah, that's why I went with Madeeh. I think his name is.
Yeah, Madeeh. Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, and so Madeeh gets the point. That is his name. Nicholas, who'd you go with and why?
So a very good debate, very close for both competitors. I ultimately decided to go with Madeeh on this one. I just thought that his takedowns of a lot of Noah's points about annihilation were a lot better than what Noah had to answer for his movie. So, and especially the silver bullet that came in with about the dubstep, I think clinched it for him. So yeah, Madeeh gets my vote.
Okay, so that is the 2 points we need. Andrea, we do not need to go to you, unfortunately, for this one, but I promise you will be included on the next one. I certainly promise because we shift the order around. So we'll see you in just a minute. But thank you very much, judges. We certainly appreciate you. All right, so that is going to be it. Madeeh will get the first point on that one. So 1-0. But Noah, plenty of time to catch up. It's just the first question and plenty of things to come, as I said. So we're going to move on to question number 2, which I will first point out is going to be a viewer submitted question submitted by either a player or a judge or anybody out there, really. I've got the information here somewhere. Let me see if I can pull that up, because if you want to get a question in, as you see on the bottom there, to a future Battleground match, you're going to email, not me, you're going to email Aaron Canola, the guy who actually runs the show, at officialaaroncanola@gmail.com. Name, question, all that jazz, if you want to get something included. But this one was actually submitted by our own Will Cohen. So Will Cohen, excuse me, let me get all this crap off the screen. Good Lord, we got so many tickers. What is going on here? All right. So this was a question that also a replay question was previously used for Chad versus Aaron. So for this question, Big Hero 6 and The Princess and the Frog are not acceptable. But Will Cohen asked, and there's so many options for this question that we decided to reuse it here for Madeeh and Noah. And we're going to ask, what Disney animated film that never got a sequel most deserves one? So I'm very interested to see what these guys have lined up for that. There's a whole lot of options out there that they could choose from. So let's get this thing going. I'll remove myself. Let me reset this timer right here, and we can get things going. Mr. Madeeh, you will be first going on this question. Let's find out what you answered whenever you're ready.
So in 2007. For those of you guys who were alive back then, I know there's a lot of millennials who view our show. There was a film that came out about time travel, about found family, and about a boy who just wanted to know whether or not his mother loved him. That's Meet the Robinsons. This film has literally everything in it. It has a giant octopus who's also a butler, or a squid, sorry. It has a dinosaur wearing a bowler hat that attacks people. It also has a frog band that sings Frank Sinatra and jazz. There is so much in this movie that is just outstanding. It is a really fun movie about found family and figuring out who you are and what family means to you, while also having the themes of time travel, alternate timelines, and a little bit of the butterfly effect in there as well. It covers a lot of topics, and right now with Loki and a lot of the other things that are going on, time travel is a hot topic. So I'd say make a sequel for this.
All right, time for Madeeh, and we're going to go over to Mr. Noah. And Noah, we're going to find out what you picked whenever you're ready.
I'm going to talk about a movie that holds a very special place in kids who were born in 2000, early 2000s, in the 90s. Hell, even parents probably of these kids who watch this movie love this movie, and it holds a special place in everyone's heart. And it's a damn shame that it didn't perform well at the box office. But the sequel that I want to see is going to be of Treasure Planet, because there's a lot of groundwork that has been laid already. You're smiling because you know I have the right answer. And one, it's going to capture the nostalgia for everyone who loves the original film, but it's also going to bring this new generation of kids into this worlds, and have them love this movie as much as we do.
All right, time. So we've got Treasure Planet versus Meet the Robinsons. I've seen one of these movies. I won't say which one till after. But
Can you guess which ones I've seen?
We'll see. So let's get into the 2-minute expansion. Madeeh, back to you to give us a little more about Meet the Robinsons whenever you're ready.
Okay, so Meet the Robinsons, like I was saying, the time travel element is a really big portion of this film. In the film, spoiler alert if you haven't seen this movie, they travel from 2007 to 2037, which, for those of you keeping track at home, is now closer to us than we are to 2007. So that'll help you feel old. And they go to this future that is this utopia, this amazing future where there's this genius inventor who's created so many things that made people's lives better. And he meets this family that's very off the walls crazy, but they're also at the same time caring and loving, and they're a good family to each other and welcoming in Lewis, who comes into to their lives. This film does so many things that are unexpected, and it kind of came at that point where Disney was going through a lot of changes, which is why you haven't really had a sequel to this. Actually, John Lasseter asked the sequel for it when he took over, and then decided to make Planes instead of working on a sequel to this. But it's one of those things where you could have so much happen in this film, because you can add in the time travel element, or we could go even further into the future where we start in 2020, let's say it comes out 2025, and then you fast forward to 2055 and see how the future has changed beyond that. Maybe there's another threat that is taking over time travel and trying to go back and alter things that happen. There's a lot that you can do with this movie, and time travel being such a dense topic and such an intriguing topic, especially recently with the rise of Loki and with the Flash coming out later this year. Time travel is a big thing, and a lot of people are really intrigued to see everyone's different take on it. So I say bring this movie back, have a sequel to it, and explore these characters more and this family more, and see how they work following the events of the first movie, and see what else can happen with time travel involved.
Time. All right, a little expansion there for Meet the Robinsons. Noah, we're back to you for your expansion on Treasure Planet whenever you're ready.
The reason this makes for the best sequel is because the groundwork is already there. A finished script was actually made by the original film's crew. Certain cast members were scheduled to return. This movie was being ready to be greenlit and to be put into production when Disney realized that apparently it wasn't performing well enough for them at the box office, and so he just cut it. But because we have this groundwork, and because we have this love, this resurgence of people who love it, this is now the perfect time and the perfect opportunity to make a sequel. What you can do with this film is they talked about having film covering Jim's time at the academy. The sequel picked up where the last one left off. It would have showed Jim learning the ways of the Galactic Navy, not only how to be a better pilot and explorer, but maturing from his stereotypical bad boy self. And it would have shown us a different side to that rough exterior. You could have had more character development that way. Ironbeard would have been this film's big bad, a bloodthirsty buccaneer who would become more machine than man. And his pirate crew would have stolen a powerful spacecraft from the Academy and plunged the characters into an adventurous plot. This is a perfect time for it. It's a perfect plot. The script's already been made. I don't know why Disney isn't jumping on this immediately right now. You can bring back the voice actors because when you have voice actors, time doesn't really matter. But with what Madeeh is saying for Meet the Robinsons is you could go into the future. You can do a lot with this. There are so many shows and movies that are playing with time travel already, and they've been playing with it for years, that a lot of these themes, a lot of these things that they're doing are not going to be new or interesting. The theme that you covered in that first movie is already done. Why do you need to make a second movie with these characters when we received such a good finale?
Time. All right. Good little expansions there. Now we're going to get into the back and forth, the 4-minute open debate. I will start that timer up whenever the first competitor starts speaking.
Not only are we able to bring Jim back into this, but we're going to bring a love interest for him because we didn't get that in the first one, who's actually going to back him up. She's not going to be a damsel in distress, but she's going to be his equal and level-headed to his opposite kind of brash self. And that's just a great addition you could put into this film. But you're talking about playing with time travel, but literally everything else is doing that and probably doing it better. And I've already talked about the themes and just the concept of time travel and how it works.
The thing is, the time travel is just there for like the intrigue. And a lot of kids' movies don't have time travel in it. Like the time travel movies that are coming out, it's more centered for like people our age or a little bit older. There's nothing for kids that are explaining what time travel is or doing anything like that. This movie has the potential to really teach a younger generation something about this concept that is coming up so much in other media. But yeah, that's the thing. Like the time travel and the sci-fi stuff is like secondary to him like understanding how families work. Like in the first movie, the time travel was there, but the main plot point was always him trying to find his mom and ask her if he was loved. And that hits home for a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people, you know, if they grew up in the foster care system or if they grew up without a parent, they can relate to that. This is just going to expand on that by having him learn more about family and understand his family more. Whereas, you know, your film is just going to be another. Listen, I'm going to give one away. I saw Treasure Planet. It basically just reminded me of Star Trek, like the 2009 one, because he starts out the movie doing this whole like adventure thing, and then the cops pull him over and take him back to his mom, who's disappointed in him because she's a single mom working to raise this kid.
Well, I wonder where Star Trek got it from, because this movie came before that.
Where Star Trek got it from? Star Trek's
No, the 2009 version of Star Trek got it from, because I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Chris Pine and everything like that, but this one came first, and you're talking about like all of the things with family, and you could just continue with that. They already did that in that first film. There's like nothing you need to talk about more.
Like, there's always stuff to talk about, man. The fact that time travel is a thing in this universe, I would love to see them expand on that and see what happens, or have another like a scientist come back from the past and say, okay, we need your help, blah blah blah. They've done like it's not going to be breaking the mold by any means. I'm not saying that they should do that, but I'm saying that there is so much that they could do that is interesting. And the way Disney's going right now with a lot of the remakes and stuff like that, I think if they did something original, it would really help push their brand forward. I just thought of this. ChatGPT goes rogue and he has to stop it. I don't know why that came into my mind, but that's how tired I am that I'm not thinking about ChatGPT.
That's the biggest problem with your argument, is you're literally trying to come up with things on top of your head. The groundwork for Treasure Planet sequel is there. The
groundwork for the original movie was there too, and nobody cared.
It's there to take, and nobody is doing it because it performed bad at the box office. But everybody loves that film.
No, but nobody loves it because nobody saw it. I think, like, what was it? LA Times said it was like one of the biggest.
What are you talking about? Maybe at the time nobody saw it, but everyone
who's seen it now. No one's going back like, yeah, let me watch this animated Anakin Skywalker looking dude.
It's on Disney
across planet.
You go back to previous debates. People talk about why this is one of the most underrated Disney properties. It's underrated.
It's there, people bullshit on Movie Battleground.
That's what you're trying to do right now.
And pause and time. All right, this one's getting fun. I like it. All right, but let's go back to Madeeh for your final 60 seconds on this topic, sir, whenever you're ready.
everything you pitched, I feel like has been done by Star Trek or Star Wars like 20 times already. There's nothing in this film that really entices me. They already found the treasure planet. Now it's just going to be, oh, it's the guys from Treasure Planet on a separate adventure with no treasure. Like a big part of the first movie was like, all right, let's see them. It's like a pirate movie. Let's see them get to the treasure and see what happens. And now you're going to make it like not a pirate movie, but like kind of like a space cop movie or like a buddy cop thing with this romance. I don't know if I really want into that. Also, there's a lot more fart jokes in that movie than I remember there was. Like, there's a whole character species that speak in farts, and I was like losing my shit because I was like, this is ridiculous. People love this movie. Um, I'm gonna go back to Meet the Robinsons because I think that there's so much that you can do. The fact that they just had a dinosaur wearing a bowler hat, walking amongst frogs who are singing jazz was such a concept, and there's so much that we didn't explore because we only really stayed with that one family. You can go to other places and see what other families are doing with their future tech.
All right, time. And Noah, time for you to wrap it up with your 60 seconds whenever you're ready, sir.
Everything that you're talking about was done already in the first one. The theme of family, and especially the theme of keep moving forward, is just done so well in the first one. Why would you take a risk and gamble on just ruining all of that for a sequel? Oh wait, Disney would do that for an attempted crash grab. Like I said, the groundwork is there. You can have the original characters come back and voice these characters. You have a plot that's already been written. You have character development in Jim. You're taking him and you're developing him more into this kind of like calmer, not as brash, and you do that through his love interest. And you you do that character development with him through this movie. Yeah, you have the character development he goes through in the first one, but then you continue that as just like Guardians does in their trilogy. You can do that in the sequel and just watch him develop even more.
All right, and that is going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you very much. Good debate there, some good information on some good movies. While I'm giving the judges just a second to wrap things up, speaking of time, let's blow your mind with some movie times. I'll give you a couple of movies that are celebrating anniversaries that might blow your mind. Man of Steel, 10 years old. Kind of crazy, right? Return of the King, 20 years old. Yeah, hard to believe, right? Doesn't it seem like yesterday we were all watching that in the theater? Kind of
I
nuts.
think it was yesterday.
Yeah, right.
Did they have a
I
thing?
think they did some 20th anniversary screenings. Jurassic Park, 30 years old, which is kind of insane and still going strong with the sequels. And one that did jump back in theaters for the anniversary, 40 years of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, kind of crazy to think that we're 40 years removed from Return of the Jedi. So just wanted to give a couple of facts while I was giving our judges a chance to put their thoughts together. Gentlemen, I will see you back in just a second. I'm going to take you out and bring our judges back in. It's going to be this time Nicholas, Andrea, and then Ross. Hello, everybody. You're back. All right. Lovely people. Let's get your thoughts on this particular debate, this Disney debate. Nicholas, we're going to go to you first. Who got it for you and why?
So yeah, again, another tough match that kind of we're going back and forth. Kept tying it up and kept tying, and so I kind of had to go with what I felt in the moment, and I decided to go with Noah on this one, mostly because I feel like his argument was more sound in terms of like what would happen in a sequel, whereas Madee's argument pretty much boiled down to there's so much potential of what you could do, but he doesn't really specify what that is as strongly as I think Noah did. So.
Okay, fair enough. So first point to Noah. Andrea, nice to see you. We're going to hear from you now. Yay.
Yay.
Andrea, who'd you have for this one and why?
Okay, my vote also goes to Noah on this one. I think he was able to give more specifics on what the sequel would look like, whereas Maddie specified mostly only time traveling with no specific ways on how the movie would work in that setting, or in a more what I should say is in a more specific way than what Noah was planning. And besides the fact that he was also able to specify that there was already a Treasure Planet 2 script on the way, but it was just not made. So I would have to give my vote to Noah on this one.
Okay, so we got 2 votes for Noah. That's going to do it. Ross, we'll see you again in just a minute. We do not need your vote for this one, but I will back out. Thank you very much, judges. We'll go back to you guys in just a few minutes as we bring our competitors back in. We got a match on our hands, guys, 1-1. I like it. Noah bouncing back with that one, but let's see where it goes. It is anybody's game at this point. So we're going to go to our third question here. Let me take that ticker off there. All right, our third question here for our competitors. Who doesn't love good fight scenes, right? We all love a good fight. Everything Everywhere All at Once, as I mentioned, had some good martial arts, some good fun. You know, these John Wick movies have some good fight scenes, some good martial arts, some good gun fu. But we're going to take a little trip back. Speaking of time, back in the time machine to the 2000s, and we asked our competitors, what is the best martial art? Not the best. Well, it might be the best. If you argue that, but the best of the best. Now, your answer cannot be best of the best from 1989. That is not eligible for this question because we were talking about the 2000s. But what is the best martial arts film? Maybe the best of 2000s, and we'll get our competitors' answers here in just a second as I back out of here. Let's bring that timer back up. Let me reset this thing. And Noah, we're going to go back to you, sir. You will get to open it up, sir, and we'll find out your answer whenever you're ready.
My movie is not only the better martial arts, has better martial arts fights, it's the better movie in general. My movie is so good and renowned and crafted that it's taught in film classes. I know because I'm in those classes. This film is so good that in the early 2000s, when a lot of international films weren't really viewed as seriously as other films would be in the Academy and just in like a international films area, it was nominated and won for numerous Oscars. This film is so good that all these years later, it's considered the best martial arts film. This movie was so good that by saying all these things, actually just asking the question, you could probably form which movie it is in your head, and that's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Okay. I didn't know if he was going to actually get to it, but it is, in fact, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You finally got to it right there at the end. No answer, Crouching Tiger. So we'll find out what Madeeh chose for his option whenever you're ready, sir. Introduce us to your movie.
I chose Ip Man. I wanted to get that out before the last 4 seconds, but just so I could do it. No, Ip Man is a fantastic film starring Donnie Yen. And while my opponent picked an answer that was much more revered in the Western world, Ip Man is just as good of a movie. It's fantastic performance by Donnie Yen, and it's an incredible showcase of the stunt work and choreography that they were able to do, while also telling a loosely based on the story of the person who trained Bruce or ended up training Bruce Lee later on in his life. I think that Ip Man is a underrated movie in the West, whereas in the Eastern Hemisphere, they revere it for what it is because it is done so well and it's told so well, and the acting by Donnie Yen in particular is magnificent. So I'm choosing Ip Man as the best martial arts film of the 2000s.
Okay, all right. So Madeeh going with Ip Man with Donnie Yen, but we'll go back to Noah for your 2-minute expansion on Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon whenever you're ready.
If you're looking for great action scenes, you found them in Ip Man. But if you desire more than just eye candy, such as character and plot development and historical accuracy, you have to look elsewhere. And historical accuracy is especially important when it comes to Ip Man, because if you're going to be telling a story about Bruce Lee's trainer, you have to be able to make it sort of historically accurate. I'm not going to lie, Ip Man does have great fight sequences. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I'm going to refer to as Hidden Dragon, just does them better. The color palettes and the schemes inside this film, especially during the fights, make it so that these characters don't have to talk. You understand exactly who these characters are, their motivations, who they are as a person, just from the color palettes, just by the main color schemes that are being shown on screen. It's using this visual medium to its fullest. It's using the visual medium as a storytelling aspect. So it's not just talking to you and talking to you. It's showing you these things. It's showing you this story. It's not just a fight martial arts story. It's a love story, and it's a beautiful love story between these two characters. Talk about Michelle Yeoh, who puts on a fantastic performance. Everyone loves the fight between the parents and Shang-Chi, but it's because there was so much inspiration pulled from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The way that the combat is shot and just performed, it's this dance, and it's beautiful, and it's engaging, and you can't take your eyes off the screen. It's just magnificent. The feminist statement, the fight choreography, it's ballet-like, the magical realism, and Michelle Yeoh, it has everything you want in a martial arts film and elevates it to a point where you didn't know that you wanted this from a martial arts film, and it gives it to you.
All right, that's going to be time for Noah on his 2 minutes. Madeeh, back to you for 2 minutes on your expansion of Ip Man. Whenever you're ready, sir.
So, you talked about color and themes and things like that. While Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon does use those, I think the lack of using such prominent colors in Ip Man actually works in its favor. Ip Man is, while it is a martial arts film, it's also a World War II drama, which is not something that you really expect to meld together very well, but it does. It's the story about this guy who is a martial arts teacher before World War II, and then suddenly the war comes and everything is gone. Like, obviously, we don't have that same experience, but we've had so many World War II films that have shown the war side, but this is a character who's not involved in the war. He's just a victim of it, and his family's a victim of it. I think had this movie had more of like a Hollywood backing instead of just having the Hong Kong studio push it out, I think this could have had more push at the Oscars, like Crouching Tiger. You called it Hidden Dragon. I was trying to say Hidden Dragon as well. I think that the costume design, the editing is done really well. The score is heart wrenching, and also I think that Donnie Yen could have been up for Best Actor. That was a tough year for acting, but I think he could have been up there. The fight choreography in Crouching Tiger is very well done, yes, but I would argue that in Ip Man it's done even better. And the reason I say that it's going to be a little bit strange, but Crouching Tiger uses like the whole the wuxia style, where it's like a lot of wire work and they're kind of floating and they're flying and stuff, whereas Ip Man, it uses some wire work, but it's very minimal. I watched this movie for the first time with my uncle, who's a huge Bruce Lee fan, and he's like, man, they're speeding up the guy's punches. And then we watched the behind the scenes, and no, he's actually punching that fast. He's really moving and really going for it, and they're all moving full game speed the entire time. They're relentless in how they're doing these stunts.
All right, time on Madeeh for that expansion. We get into the 4-minute open discussion, gentlemen, and I will start that clock back up whenever the first person starts speaking.
I want to talk about something else that makes this movie great, is that each scene has very specific and intense stakes involved, which makes the film in general that more dramatic. The scenes define their own reality. The performers glide across walls, treetops, and ponds, but they never inspire disbelief. You believe everything you're seeing on the screen, and that's something that's very critical and very needed in films nowadays. I mean, Ip Man, it just has some segments that just feel rushed, while others develop evenly, and it's really only just a good martial arts film because of the fight choreography.
That's blasphemy, and I'm going to add to that blasphemy by saying that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, although it is, listen, I'll be straight up. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is one of my favorite movies of all time. The middle romance between Jen and Lo, that's some weird shit. Like, it's creepy as hell. He kidnaps her.
If that's your only
no, hang on. This thing goes on for 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes of the middle of the movie.
Just want to say,
they have the beginning, which is good, really good, and then suddenly they have a flashback for 30 minutes before getting to the main story again. And in this flashback, he steals her comb, and for some reason, then he decides to kidnap her, tie her up, put her in a cave in the middle of the desert, and then they fall in love. Like, it's a very, like, what is
I
that?
had a problem with one of the characters' relationships, and that makes it so this movie is not as good as my movie.
No, because
just
they
the
like
one
put
relationship.
that as one of the cruxes of the whole movie. Like, this romance is the whole reason she's doing so much of this stuff. And she's like, yeah, come find me, bring me this comb afterwards. Like, she got taken by this guy and put in a cave, and then suddenly, listen,
He's
I've
trying to
worked
use the
very
scene
hard
to
in my life to
diminish.
be able to afford an apartment, and even still, I'm like struggling with my girlfriend sometimes. All right, this guy has a cave in the middle of the desert, steals a comb, and then ties her up, and she's like fully in love with this guy. It's weird, man. It's creepy and it's weird. And it takes you out of the movie a little bit.
You're trying to use this scene to diminish the beauty and the magnificence of the entire rest of the film.
Because it takes up like a quarter of the film, and it's right in the middle. Like, it ruins the pacing of the movie by putting this random flashback in for 30 minutes.
It's not even random. It's needed.
No one cares about.
You have to understand. Even if it's weird for you, it's needed because you have to understand relationship.
It's weird for everybody.
Characters and their motivations.
It's
my
weird
film,
for everybody.
Nominated for best film, best director, best editing, best writing, best costume design, and best original song, and it won best score, art direction, foreign film, and cinematography. Like,
I'm not saying it didn't deserve those things. I think it does deserve the accolades that it gets.
Proves my points.
But hang on, though. I'm saying it got a lot of that because Sony Pictures was one of the producers and they put it out. My film was a specifically Hong Kong film that ended up being popular in the West. They made that for Chinese and Asian audiences, and then suddenly it became big in the West, and that's why it got more love out here. But I'm saying, had that one gotten the Hollywood treatment from the beginning, it didn't get it because it doesn't have a Hollywood backing it. Are you telling me that Waltz with Bashir is a better international film than Ip Man? No, of course not. I'm saying Ip Man is a better film, but it didn't get nominated because it didn't have the backing, and they didn't push it as much for the Oscars because they didn't realize that Western audiences were going to love it so much. Your film relies on two MacGuffins, the sword and the comb thing. And, the stunt work and choreography is great. The editing around the choreography is not great, like especially in the courtyard scene. It's difficult to see who's attacking and who's attacking what and who you're supposed to be cheering for. Ip Man, it sticks with you. Like, you're watching it and you know exactly what's happening. You're able to follow along and you see the brutality of not only the war, but also the fight scenes that they're going through. You see the torment in the characters' eyes. Everyone in this film is making an Oscar film that just happens to be a martial arts film on the side.
All right, time on the open debate. We are going to get into our 60-second closes here, and we'll go back to Noah for your 60 seconds, sir, whenever you're ready.
Ip Man is highly competent, and it's even a slick biopic, even though the historical inaccuracies are bothering. But by reshaping its protagonist's life story towards cinematic convention, it ends up being just another martial arts movie. That's all it is. Hidden Dragon is elevated through time and everything because it's a work of art. It is a piece of art. Every scene you are watching holds dramatic weight. Every scene is beautiful to look at. There's not a moment in this film where you are bored or watching the clock. Maybe the relationship in the middle is a little weird. Maybe it's bothering to you, but it's needed and it works for the movie. The editing works for the movie. You're able to fully see these characters fight, leap off of walls, fight everywhere. You have a love story between those two characters that you mentioned, but also just overall themes, and the movie is just beautiful in general.
All right, time on Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Madeeh, back to you for the final 60 seconds of this round whenever you're ready.
Saying Ip Man isn't historically exactly accurate is fine, but that doesn't take it away from the movie. Braveheart is also not exactly what happened, but people still love that movie. Historical films are not made to be shown exactly as they are. There's always some film skewing, and that's just how it is. That doesn't take away from it. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is a great film, but it does have a number of flaws. The Jen Lo romance is very creepy, and it takes away from the rest of the movie by being right in the middle, and it's 30 minutes long. It's basically trying to condense Beauty and the Beast into 30 minutes, and it just feels weird to watch. It's very creepy, and he threatens to rape her at one point, and it's weird. There's a huge reliance on the MacGuffins of the sword and of the comb, and some of the choreography is really good, but the editing in it, specifically the courtyard scene, is done so poorly that half the time you can't tell what's going on. Ip Man doesn't have those issues. It's a World War II drama focused on Donnie Yen's character of Ip Man, who you showcase of trying to struggle through this war and struggle to find who he is now that the war's happening.
All right, and time, and that is going to do it for this debate about the martial arts films. All right, gentlemen, great job. Another great one as usual. I like a good fight. I like Ip Man. Just a fun fact: I can't stand Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but that's just my opinion.
Wow.
and opinions don't
Wow.
come into this. Man, all that wire foo, hopping on branches, sword fighting,
I
horseshit.
get not
Horseshit.
enjoying the wuxia stuff, but wow.
Yeah, wuxia shit, horse shit. But anyways, that's just my opinion. Just my opinion. It does not factor into the judges.
You want to judge right now?
It does not. It does not factor.
And decide?
No. My opinion does not matter. My opinion does not matter. As opinions should not matter in the battleground. As I'll go to our judges. Doesn't matter if you like these movies or not. It's about the arguments, and I've always said that. So I'll bring you guys out. I was just kind of stalling to kind of give our judges a chance to kind of put their final thoughts together. So this time it's going to go Andrea, Ross, and then Nicholas. Andrea, we're going to you first this time for this martial arts debate. Them slugging it out, throwing kicks and punches. Who'd you have in this one and why?
Okay, first off, wow with the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon stuff, because I love that movie too.
Good for y'all. I can't stand that garbage. But go ahead. Good for you.
But based on the arguments, my vote goes to Madeeh on this one.
Okay.
Because I just think that he was able to counter most of the things that were put against his movie, whereas I think Noah's counter argument about the romance story being the crux and it ruins the movie was not as strong as Madeeh's point about the movie itself was not backed by Hollywood. That's why it was not nominated. So I'd have to go with Madeeh on this one.
Okay, Madeeh with a point. Ross, we'll go to you. Who did you have for this one and why? Make sure you unmute yourself before you talk, sir. All right.
Sorry, I won't pull a Steven. Sorry. Okay.
You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
I am voting for Madeeh. Again, it's because like he brought up about about how creepy the romance is, and I agree. And then Ip Man is underrated too.
Okay, so we have another 2-0. So sorry, Nicholas, we'll get back to you in just a second. No worries, but we've got a fight on our hands. So drop our judges back out here. Noah and Madeeh coming back in. So Madeeh bouncing back 2-1. So Noah can get this one and send it to the blind round, or Madeeh can put it away with this one. A lot of pressure on both competitors here. We got us a good old-fashioned martial arts fight. You guys can do wushu in the trees or whatever you want to. I don't care. Or you can slug it out like Ip Man did against those 10 guys in the martial arts dojo, which is the stuff I prefer. But anyways,
that's just how hard I had to dig to find something wrong with Crouching Tiger. You know how difficult that was for me?
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but that's a whole other thing. Anyways,
you're getting canceled. You're getting canceled more than Henry now.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so I'll see Henry in a little bit. Anyways, so let's go on a different topic now. A movie that has other different types of fight scenes and a franchise in different ways. A little bit of wire work, people bouncing all over the place as well. We're going to talk to Spider-Man as we've got the release of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse this summer. A movie I can't physically watch in theaters because the first one makes me literally nauseous and motion sick. So I cannot watch that.
What's wrong with you?
Listen, it's nothing to the quality of the film, the writing, the characters. I physically can't watch it. It makes me nauseous, the animation. I can't. It made me sick. So I will not be seeing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in theaters. Maybe on my phone later when I can stomach it. But that's just me, guys.
Just like Christopher Nolan wants.
Yeah, right. So I will be seeing Oppenheimer. Anyways, so we're gonna dive into the world of Spider-Man here, and we asked our competitors, what's the most overrated Spider-Man film? So we're gonna see what they chose for their answers in this one. Maybe it's Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know. It might be something else. We'll see. But regardless of that, I'm gonna drop myself out. I'm gonna take that off. Put that on the bottom. This time we're gonna go to Madeeh. Madeeh, you're a geek player guy. What did you pick for this one? Get it going, and I will start that timer whenever you're ready.
I'm actually this willing to start my entire 60 seconds and spend the whole time just convincing people to cancel Austin for his 2 shit takes that he's put out in the last 2 minutes.
Easy.
but I'm not going to. I'll spend only 10 seconds on it. Spider-Man: No Way Home is the most overrated of all the Spider-Man movies. Into the Spider-Verse is great, mind you, but it's touted as one of the great all-time MCU films. People put it on their all-time Spider-Man movie rankings because there's been so many of those movies as well, and it's good. It's not worthy of the love that it gets, though. I equate it to, like, if I order a steak and the steak is shit, but it's covered in seasoning. That's what Spider-Man: No Way Home is. Whereas I'd much rather have like a solid steak and a little bit of seasoning on top to really give that extra flavor. That's what this movie is, except instead of seasoning, it's, nostalgia and cameos, and there's not a lot of meat underneath it. And I'd prefer it to be the other way around, where there's a lot of meat and then sprinkling the cameos and nostalgia.
All right. Well, I'm canceling your 60 seconds now because you're out of time, Madeeh. All right. So I got to go to Noah now for his introduction. What Spider-Man movie he picked? Noah, I'll hit that timer whenever you're ready.
I'm going to go with Spider-Man, the 2002 version. It's loved by a lot of people because of Tobey Maguire. He's their Spider-Man. A lot of people love it because it's a good origin story for Spider-Man, and in some ways it is, and most ways it isn't. There's a lot of problems that people don't realize, and when it comes to being overrated, underrated, it is very overrated. And in one of the lists by Screen Rant, it's actually put as a number 3 Spider-Man movie, right below Spider-Man 2 and Into the Spider-Verse. And I'll go over more lists, but it's heralded and loved as one of the better Spider-Man movies. Rightfully so over the Andrew Garfield ones, but there's a lot of problems with it, and it's not as good as everyone remembers.
All right. Time on that. And we'll go back to Madeeh for your expansion on No Way Home whenever you're ready.
So I've talked about this before. People didn't like it. So Spider-Man: No Way Home has a 93% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 98% score on for the audience. Now, I equate this a lot to the theater reactions and to people seeing it in the theater and having that huge experience in the theater where people were like, "Oh my God, this happened." Spoiler alert for people who haven't seen it yet, but come on, fuck you, what are you doing? All the Spider-Men show up. Andrew Garfield shows up. Tobey Maguire shows up. Their villains are all there. Willem Dafoe's back as Green Goblin. And seeing those characters on screen again in a Marvel movie, a lot of people, rightfully so, got very excited, myself included. But it doesn't work as much when you're not in a theater on opening night watching this film. It doesn't work when you're watching it with people who have already seen it. It's just a fine, fun movie. This movie kind of hinges on its cameos and nostalgia instead of focusing on being a good movie first, compared to something like Ghostbusters Afterlife, which was a good movie first and then had the nostalgia kind of sprinkled in there. A lot of the great actors in this film don't really get to showcase their acting abilities. Don't even start. I'm going to get into it. So Willem Dafoe in the first Spider-Man movie, the one that you say is overrated, has this whole monologue facing into the mirror where he's going back and forth, the Jekyll and Hyde thing. It's brilliant. I love it in the first movie. This movie, the whole thing where Spider-Man gets the spider sense and like gets his hand and sticks it to the dummy machine, and then he's like, "Well, you finally figured it out," and he has that whole spiel. Why are we cutting to Jamie Foxx saying "the hell" and then cutting to Marissa Tomei going to find the serum? Focus on Willem Dafoe's face. Let him act. Let him be seen by everyone while he's doing this brilliant performance. Let it actually be a performance, not just, "Oh, he's over there talking," and then we're going to cut to the CGI Sandman going, "Oh my God." Like, let it be a performance. God.
Time, Madeeh. I'm going to cancel you if you don't stop talking. No, that's fine. I love it. This one's going to be heated. I can't wait. This one's going to get ugly. I'm excited. Noah, but before we get to that, so before we get to that open spot, hey, wait, just wait. It's Noah's turn. Noah, time for your expansion on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I'll hit that buzzer whenever you're ready.
In multiple lists, you can fact check me on this one, Spider-Man is placed above No Way Home, and even Homecoming is placed above No Way Home, which means that Spider-Man is actually, in fact, overrated because it just hasn't aged well. Tobey is a good Peter Parker, maybe, if not the right age for a teenager. That's a really big problem, is that these are definitely early 20-year-olds. But he's not the best Spider-Man. Tom Holland is the best of both worlds. He's the best Peter Parker. He's the best Spider-Man. The first movie hides William Dafoe's face, which is probably one of his best features when it comes to his acting performance. And No Way Home fixes that problem. You see his face, you see that creepy smile he does. And you're talking about that scene in the first one. It's actually kind of cheesy, but we see him fully perform in No Way Home, and they fix it. They remove that mask from his face, and he can fully be that Green Goblin. It has low stakes. It's really only to save his love interest, Mary Jane. Mary Jane is actually a glorified damsel in distress. Like, she does really nothing for this movie. It's very outdated and sexist, and the CGI is not that great. The fight scenes are not even that great. You want to talk about a great fight scene? Let's talk about the ending fight scene between Green Goblin and Spider-Man. You want to talk about incredible movie moments? You want to talk about the moment where he's trying to stab Green Goblin with his own glider like Tobey does. And what does Tobey do? Tobey comes and he gives him a look, and that's all you need to understand everything that he's saying. There's no dialogue. There's no nothing. The character work that is used in No Way Home is incredible. And that's one of the negatives you're going to say about it, is it has too many characters and doesn't do a Sandman or Green Goblin. Yes, that's a fault. That doesn't make it a horrible movie. It does so much with the three Spider-Man and some of the other characters, and it works. Everything works.
All right, time. All right, man. This one's going to get really geeky and really ugly, and I can't wait. It's time for the 4-minute expansion. I will kick that timer back on whenever the first competitor speaks.
Dude, okay. First of all, yes, Tobey Maguire was too old to play Spider-Man at that time. But if you look at any teen movie, no, hang on. If you look at any teen movie, they're always like 20.
We're not talking about teen movies. We're talking about Spider-Man movies.
He was a teen.
Tom Holland is a great
and it was a teen Spider-Man. Tom Holland looks like a perpetual teen. He's got that. He's going to look like 50.
Which works for No Way Home. Thank you again.
I'm not saying No Way Home is a bad movie by any means. I'm saying it's not one of the best movies. You really want to go for shit takes? I perused Letterboxd on my way home today. Henry Sanchez has it as his. Henry's known for his shit takes, but let me just put this out. He has it as his best MCU film of all time and second best Spider-Man film of all time. And this guy also has Amazing Spider-Man 2 over Amazing Spider-Man. I just want to put that out.
You're talking about Henry. Let's talk about one of these.
I'm talking about Henry, but I'm also talking about other people in our community.
4 and No
Way Home is consistently put as like top 3 MCU of all time on anyone's list. I couldn't go through everyone's list.
We're not talking about MCU. We're talking about Spider-Man movies.
And in the Spider-Man world too, everyone's putting it like 1, 2, or 3. Everyone's got it very highly ranked, and that's because of the out of theater reaction.
Screen Rant listing has it at number 4.
Screen Rant is barely journalism.
Spider-Man 2002.
Look, I'm saying other ones? No Way Home should be top 5 probably, but I'm not saying it should be number 1. And a lot of people put it at number 1 or number 2 on their list, along with Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man 2002 isn't overrated.
They do Spider-Man 2 as 1 and 2 is Spider-Man of the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 2.
No, everyone puts Spider-Man 2 up there. Spider-Man 2002 is like seen as a good movie. Like if you ask anyone, it's just like I think it has like a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. Like it's good, but it's not like all-time great. Like people know that it's not the best Spider-Man movie from Tobey Maguire even. They put it as like the second best one. And
people
Tom Holland
consistently put it in the top tier of Spider-Man movies that doesn't
because
deserve
we've had like 12 of them, and it's not Spider-Man 3 or Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, it belongs
in the middle.
It belongs in the top 5.
They put it at the top.
It's usually like 5th or 4th or something like that. Like Homecoming is arguable up there. No Way Home is like probably up there. But then you have Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man 2, which are 2 of the greatest Spider-Man movies of all time, which should be up there at the top. And then everything else is just kind of there in the middle. And then you get to the bottom tier, which is like Morbius and those guys. No one's saying that Spider-Man is like this all-time masterpiece. They're like, it started off Spider-Man for the modern era. But it's definitely campy. It's been 20 years and it doesn't hold up as much. But no one's saying it's like this great piece of cinema. Whereas
I just
No Way
looked
Home
at all of
people-
the lists, and it's easily ranked in the top 4 every time, and No Way Home is ranked below it every single time.
Not every time, man. I'm sorry. It's not. There's no
On the
way that
list of
everyone's
the
putting it.
On the 4 lists that I
If
just
they're
looked
more recent lists, then sure. But if
Yes.
they came out like right around the time that the movie came out, people were like hyping up No Way Home as like the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time. And then now people have watched it at home and they're like, oh, this isn't as good as we remember. And it's only been like 2 years since it came out.
It might not be the best, and people are probably realizing that, but it deserves to be
But
in the
it's
top.
still getting the
for the
reverence. Like
character work it
it still got a 98 and a 93 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is very high. And a lot of that just comes down to because they have like these cameos. You shouldn't have
No,
an
it's not the
applause break
cameos.
in a
It's
film.
not the cameos. The callbacks and all these
The
character
callbacks and the
interactions,
cameos take up a
sure,
lot of the movie. There's not a lot of movie underneath all the nostalgia.
it's a little bit of fan service, but
It's a
it's
lot of
used to
fan
develop. It's used to develop the characters
It's
and move the
Spider-Man
plot forward.
fan
It has
service.
purpose. It has purpose, and yeah, it's going to excite you. That's what a movie should do. But it does so much for these characters, and you see the character development.
Time. All right, time for that one. Back and forth. It's getting a little heated, but this could potentially be the final 2 60-second portion of the match. It may not be. We'll find out in just a second. Madeeh, your final 60 seconds whenever you're ready.
So yeah, 20 years ago, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, it worked. Kristen Dunst as Mary Jane, yeah, she was a damsel in distress, but that's kind of how Mary Jane has been in the comics for a long time, and that's just kind of what they did. This movie has a very good Spider-Man in Tobey Maguire. He has that charm, he has that humor to him. It has those great horror elements. It has Willem Dafoe actually being able to act and being shown acting and having that dichotomy of the Green Goblin, whereas No Way Home doesn't. No Way Home is just a lot of reaction shots. Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland on the roof talking about their losses and the great power comes great responsibility speech. Why are we cutting away from people who are giving great performances like Andrew Garfield to show Tom Holland's reaction to what he's saying? No, just give me the face of that actor. Let me revel in the emotion. Let me revel in the feeling, because that's what I came for. I didn't come to see Tom Holland's reaction to something that I saw 5 years ago. I want the movie to be good, but it's okay. Spider-Man 2002 is a really good movie, but no one's saying it's top of the list. It's good. People are saying it's good.
And time. Madeeh with his final 60 seconds. Noah, go to you for your final 60 potentially of the match. We'll see. Noah, lay it down for the last 60 seconds, if you will, sir.
And I'm saying it's not a good movie. You're saying 20 years ago, yeah, it worked, but it doesn't work now, and that's what we're arguing is it's overrated. It doesn't work now, and No Way Home does, because you get those moments. You're saying William Dafoe is not acting in this movie. He finally has that mask taken off of him from that first movie, so you can see his face, you can see him acting. He does his own stunt performance in this movie. That final fight with him and Tom Holland's Peter is great, and that moment that he has with Tobey Maguire is perfect. You have the Spider-Man talking to each other, which it adds some fun dialogue for us, but it just serves for more character development. And it does have fan service in this movie. Yes, you're right, but it serves a purpose. It wants to make you excited. It wants to make you love the movie, and you do, but it also uses to develop the characters and to move the plot forward. Spider-Man is just outdated. It has so many problems, and people are still saying it's a great movie.
Time. All right, and that is going to do it for this one. Guys, a great, nice, geeky fight as expected with that one. I actually worked at a movie theater when that 2002 Spider-Man came out, and man, that movie played on like every screen every 15 minutes. It was like the most people I've ever seen watching movies ever at a theater. It was insane how big that movie was at the time. It was really quite the phenomenon. So, but yeah, I just want to give the judges a chance to kind of put their final thoughts together. It could be a very important question, as we will see. So I will drop you guys out, and let's see what happens here. I'm going to bring in our judges first. We're going to be Ross, then Nick, then Andrea, if needed. Hello, judges. Yeah, quite a throwdown there, geeky throwdown of the Spider-Man variety. But let's see what happens here as we go to y'all's decisions. Ross, we're going to go to you first. Make sure you unmute yourself and give me who you got and why.
This was a hard one. I kept on going back and forth. I wrote both names like 5 times, but ultimately what won it is when they talk about the holding up. So I picked Noah for this one. Like it's because like he talked about like about how the damsel in distress stuff doesn't work, and then like how you hide William Dafoe's face, for like half the movie, and that's one of his best features. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Noah.
Okay, so first point going to Noah. Nicholas, who'd you have and why on this one?
I think it just kept going back and forth. It was a very intense match. I ultimately decided to go with Noah on this one. I just think that he was able to shut down a lot of Madee's arguments, like especially the thing about Willem Dafoe being taken out of the mask so he can actually perform in No Way Home. I think is a good call in his favor as to how that movie is better. So I had to go with Noah now.
Okay, Noah is going to get the point to tie it up 2-2. Let me get my judges out of here. Bring our competitors back in because you know what that means, guys. It's a tie game. We're going to go to the most.
Can I just hand it to Madeeh?
Yeah.
Can I just give it?
Well,
I was about to say the same thing.
Do this.
Don't do it just yet. We got to get to it. So
right.
let me go to something real quick, just for anybody watching. A little thing about how, excuse me, not that one. This is how blind round. There we go. How it's going to work. I'm going to give these guys a pre-selected topic or question. So they're going to get that, and they're going to have to give me an answer, basically a prompt. They're going to have to give me a blind answer, not knowing what the actual question will be, and then I will let them back out for roughly 10 minutes or so to prep an argument, and then it will come back for a regular round, sort of, as we normally would. So that is what it's going to be, gentlemen. I have the blind round question ready. Are you guys ready to hear your blind round prompt? And then we will get to it in a few minutes. What's up?
Can I just say this?
Yeah.
I've been in the emergency room working for the last few weeks. This is more stressful. All right, this is more stressful than that. Do you realize how annoying these blind round questions are? I swear to God, I hate this blind round thing so much.
Dude, I've been to a couple
on day one.
I know.
Fuck the blind round. Fuck the blind round. It is terrible. Well, I hate it so much. All right, fuck it. Give me the question.
Well, we're going to go to it. We're going to have to. So here we go with our blind round prompt. I'm going to get you guys answers. Then I'll hit you with the question. So you guys are going to name one of the 5 sequels in the Jurassic franchise. And whoever answers first will go first in the blind round. So whenever you guys are ready, give me an answer. Okay, Madeeh is going to say Jurassic World. Noah, what are you going to go with?
God damn it. I swear I've already argued this question.
You don't know that. That's the thing. That's what makes this fucking annoying. Is
what is the second one? Fallen Kingdom? Is that what it is?
The second movie or the second in the second half of the franchise?
The second. Oh, Lost Kingdom. The second one in the original.
Lost World.
Lost World. Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna go with Lost World. Okay, just making sure because Fallen Kingdom is a whole different movie. Okay, so we got Jurassic World and Lost World. Question will be, what's the best sequel to Jurassic Park? So
is Lost World the one with the talking Velociraptor?
No,
I don't know. You figured that out.
I'm trying to remember which one's which.
I'll say that, but you will have 10 minutes to figure it out because I'm going to drop you guys out for your 10-minute prep. And what we will do is I will drop you guys out. We'll take a very, very quick break. You will not see much in the editing portion. We'll come right back to it. But I'm going to drop these guys out, and we will go to the blind round in just a moment. Are back here on the Movie Battleground. It's blind round time, our competitors' favorite round. We got Madeeh and Noah. We asked them what is the best sequel to Jurassic Park. Both competitors have locked in their answers. It's time to go to that final blind round, and let's find out who wins this thing, man. It's been a great fight so far. I'm going to drop myself out. Let's get this thing going. Don't waste any more time. I will reset the clock, get us ready to go. Madeeh, you answered first, so you will be going first. I'll start your 60 seconds whenever you start speaking.
So Jurassic World is the culmination of the promise that we had been hoping for since the 90s when Jurassic Park originally came out. we finally get to see the park. The park is open. The dinosaurs are in enclosures. People are being able to go there and see the dinosaurs and interact with them. They have these spheres that make it somewhat more safe for us to see them in their natural habitats and see the dinosaurs. We get everything that we want in a Jurassic Park movie. It's a park. It's open. There's dinosaurs. Obviously, something goes wrong. The billionaires get overexcited and they do something dangerous to try and bring in more people. And of course, everything goes wrong. This movie is the best sequel to the original Jurassic Park because it has those horror elements while also having that spectacle and that awe, where you feel entranced by the dinosaurs that are on screen. When I first went to go see this movie in theaters, I was sitting next to a woman who I don't think had seen a movie before, and every time the dinosaur came on screen,
And time.
oh my god, and whacked me in the face. It was a great experience.
Okay, I get where you're going with that. All right, Noah, 60 seconds for you to start with Lost World whenever you're ready.
Lost World probably has a lot of bad taste in people's mouth, and that's just because it comes on the back of Jurassic Park, which is the only good Jurassic Park movie. And so people watch this one and they're disappointed in what they see, and so not as happy about it. When the fact is that it's the best sequel to come from Jurassic Park, even though it's not the greatest. Even because probably it shifts the focus onto Ian Malcolm instead of the original two doctors, but it takes the risks and focuses on sort of a darker, more horror tone. The terror is upped. That last sequence with the T-Rex on the mainland is terrifying to think of what the ramifications would be if dinosaurs were living among us. And a concept so unique and interesting that Dominion is such a shit movie because it ruins that idea. Jurassic World is just Jurassic Park, but worse.
Okay, all right. That's going to be it for that. Expansion for Madeeh on Jurassic World whenever you're ready.
So here's the thing: the Jurassic Park franchise was dead in the water for like well over a decade, and then Jurassic World came out, and it made $1 billion because people were excited to go back to see it. And you can't just make a garbage movie with nothing in it and make $1 billion, Michael Bay. You have substance. Now, the Jurassic World movies, yes, they're not perfect, but the first one has that idea of people being able to go to this park and people seeing these dinosaurs, and you see the kind of the original idea of what Richard Hammond had in the first movie, where I want people to be able to see these creatures like it's a zoo, and you see that happen. And then as the movie progresses, you kind of see, where the money aspect of it takes over and where people start making mistakes. This movie doesn't have anything that is unrealistic in the world of Jurassic Park. Yes, there's dinosaurs everywhere. Yes, there's genetic splicing and all that stuff. But it continues on the legacy in a way, unlike No Way Home, which I'm still going to be mad about, that it sprinkles in the nostalgia while also having a movie underneath. You have the scene where they find the Jeep and everything, and you have the old dinosaur, the old T-Rex coming out, even though I don't think they lived that long. You have all these things coming into the movie that original fans of the original will love, but also brings in new fans. Lost World is a terrible movie. It's really bad. Having a T-Rex show up in San Francisco or LA, wherever it is, and then like taking it out because there's a baby there, it's such a dumb plot line that could have been done so much better. And the fact that Spielberg directed it is kind of shocking to expect greatness from him. This is one of his worst movies, and it's the worst, second worst Jurassic Park sequel of all time. So saying it's the best of all of them is a stretch. It's not good. There's a scene where Jeff Goldblum's daughter uses gymnastics to beat up a velociraptor.
Time. All right, over to Noah for your 2-minute expansion whenever you're ready.
Jurassic World isn't a good sequel because it doesn't take any risks and just does what the original film does, but gives you the actual theme park, which is what Madeeh is raving about. Sure, we're excited to see the actual Jurassic Park unfold and we can see it, but it just turns into being just a regular theme park, a regular amusement park, just with dinosaurs in place of regular animals, so it doesn't do anything exciting with that besides, oh no, a dinosaur escaped, which is exactly what the first movie does. It's a different dinosaur, but it still doesn't negate the fact that it's a dinosaur escaping on a secluded island. But what Jurassic Park Lost World does is it releases this T-Rex into the mainland and puts the idea of what would happen if this, what could we do, how do we take this down, and it does a smart approach where it references something that happened previously in the film. It referenced the fact that it was just trying to look out for its baby, and having that be the thing that solves the problem is a smart choice and a smart decision. But you have nothing interesting in Jurassic World. Sure, maybe you have that Jurassic Park run with Owen, but then there's that stupid switch where all of a sudden the Velociraptors switch sides and are now on the sides with the Indominus, and then suddenly at the end, Blue is like, "Oh no, I'm a good guy now," and starts fighting against the dinosaur. Stuff like that is really stupid and doesn't make sense. But everything that's in Lost World makes sense and has a reason why it was done. The terror is upped in this movie. You really feel it when the start of the film, when that girl is attacked by all those little dinosaurs. When you see those T-Rexes coming again, it's terrifying.
All right, and time. We're going to go to the 4-minute open debate whenever the first competitor starts speaking.
I'm not a paleontologist. I don't know what those little dinosaurs are called, but they look so stupid. Anyone who's scared of those things is a moron. I'm sorry. Those things are ridiculous, and it's like those are the ones that kill.
I'm not saying those are the most terrifying ones, but the fact that they can all come together, it's kind of like that swarm mentality that they all just come together and you can't really do anything about it except for just get eaten slowly.
It's really dumb. The fact that Peter Stormare got taken out by these like little dinosaurs is like a diss on his career at this point. Like honestly, like the fact that like any movie he's in now, I'm just gonna be like, well, he got beaten up by like 10.
Oh no, you're unhappy about a way that one specific character was treated in the movie, and so now you think the whole movie is shit. Well,
no, because
it may be not a great movie, but it's the best sequel because it actually takes the risk and tries to go to a darker tone.
And it barely uses it. The one thing in this movie that works is Pete Postlethwaite's character of like being a big game hunter and wanting to hunt a dinosaur. That I thought was interesting, and they wasted it.
How did they waste it? Tell me how they wasted it.
All he is like, so he's very single note. So I thought if they have like a big game like hunter in a dinosaur land, I thought that could be an intriguing concept of like, all right, now we can enter the black market of selling things, which they kind of do later, but not really. I thought that would have been interesting, but Pete Postlethwaite is just like, I want to kill a T-Rex. And then the whole film is just like, I'm going to kill a T-Rex. And that's it. That's all his character is. An actor of that caliber.
That's really all you need from him, though.
No, but you don't get
the fact that he has this
Oscar-winning actor and a dramatic Shakespearean actor and just being like, I'm just going to kill a dinosaur. That's all I care about.
You have this honoring like code about him where he is only going to kill this thing on his terms and in the right manner. He's not going to rope it up. He's not going to kill it using his intellect and his smarts.
It's dumb, man. Like, it's a waste of Pete Postlethwaite's talents. He saw the words Jurassic Park and Steven Spielberg, and he assumed it would be something along the lines of the first one. It really wasn't, and I feel sorry for him.
It's not. It's not. I'm not saying that Lost World.
It's not a good movie.
Well, I'm not saying that Lost World lives up to the original Jurassic Park, but it is the best sequel in the entire. The entire thing.
Jurassic World was enjoyable. Lost World doesn't even have that. Lost World was boring and forgettable. Jurassic World is enjoyable.
Unlikable characters. There's no chemistry between Owen and that other lady, so there's nothing really there that you're rooting for. She's a horrible person. You want her to get eaten.
You want her to get eaten, sure. Maybe you don't like her. That's fine. The thing is, you do have a sense of connection to the characters. The two kids in this movie are really, I think, the underused crux of Jurassic World, and
because
they're the
so
ones that you really feel for. They're kids.
They're extremely annoying. So why would you root for them? Why are they?
No, you root for them because you want them to have like you have this whole backstory with them about their family, possibly like being separated and things like that, and they're on this trip as like
that's not enough to make you try to care for them because they're still kind of annoying.
It works though because you still relate to those characters and you want them to be okay. No one wants them to die, and then when they are in trouble, you have that tension. You feel that they're in trouble. Nobody, when they're in trouble in Lost World, do you ever feel like you care? Even when the gymnastics scene where she kicks a velociraptor out the window, I almost like shut my TV
I'm
off because
not
I'm
gonna
like,
I'm
no,
not
this is
gonna lie
so
to you that
over the
that's like
top
a
ridiculous.
stupid scene.
It's
But
but that's the
you
thing.
go
That
back to
whole
that
movie
RV
just
scene.
follows in
I just
that
want to talk
vein.
about the
It's
RV
ridiculous.
scene where you see the T-Rexes come, and now there's two of them, and that whole scene is very climactic, and it goes to this whole thing where they're trying to get out of the RV, but oh, it's falling over this cliff now, and they have to get out of it. It's tense, and it does it well. That scene works, but Jurassic
That's
World is
just from
just
the first movie.
McDonald's cinema. It's
That's
fast
the same thing
consumption
as the
and
first
speed
movie. What you
forgetfulness.
were
And
saying
time,
against mine is the same thing in the first movie.
time, Madeeh, time. All right,
I'm behaving.
Madeeh, we'll get back to you in just a second because you're up for your final 60 seconds, sir, of the match. Go.
The Lost World is a goddamn mess from start to finish. There's nothing in this movie that is original. There's nothing in this movie that is intriguing or enticing. It's basically a Jurassic Park movie with less awe, with less spectacle, and without a soul. Jurassic World at least is enjoyable and and memorable, and allows people to revisit this island of dinosaurs and really kind of get a feeling for what it would be like to go to the park. It made you feel like you could actually go there, whereas the Lost World was just it's dumb popcorn filler. Maybe you'll remember it in a week. The fact that before we started this argument, I couldn't remember if this was the one where there's a talking velociraptor or not says a lot to the quality of the other sequels in this franchise. There's really Jurassic Park at the top tier echelon, and then you drop down, and then the next best one is the Jurassic World came out about 10 years ago now. Everything else is way below that, and it's just a pile of garbage dump. Like that's what it is. Jurassic World is at least fun and enjoyable. Lost World doesn't
Time,
even have that.
Madeeh. All right, Noah, your final 60 seconds of the match. Whenever you're ready.
I wasn't even talking. I was muted. I'm not
Start
even.
over.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to say that Lost World is a great movie. I'm saying it is the best sequel in which you have a franchise which all of these movies are absolute shit. It doesn't have a high bar to go for. It's incredibly better than Jurassic World. It takes risks. It does something different. It goes towards a darker tone. It takes a character, a funny character you loved in the first one, and says, "We're going to focus on him and his kid." You have tense moments with T-Rexes, and that's not the only one. You have a great character with the hunter who's like, I need to kill this dinosaur, but he has this coat about him. Jurassic World is literally just Jurassic Park, but with less quality special effects. And oh no, you have a theme park now, which is not really that interesting. You're just putting in dinosaurs for animals. Um, Jurassic Lost World has great visual effects that kind of still stand up to this day. There's plenty of action, adventure, and suspense. It really ups the ante on the suspense and the action part, and Jurassic World doesn't.
Time. All right, and that is gonna do it, gentlemen. For that, let's see what happens here. It's been a very good match, a very good final debate for something you guys weren't looking forward to. It turned out to be a really good back and forth about those Jurassic sequels. So yeah, franchise. I like most of the movies in this franchise, but just giving these judges a second, we're gonna wrap this thing up and see who's gonna win this thing once and for all. So here we go. I'm going to bring in our judges. First, it's going to be Nicholas, then Andrea, then Ross, who's in here with audio. So let's go to it. Hopefully, you guys are ready for this. Let's see who wins this thing. Nicholas, we're going to go to you first. Your point and why.
Solid back and forth, really tough match. God, this was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. But I ultimately decided to go with Noah because I just think his argument that all of these sequels are bad and this is just the least bad of them is a lot stronger than the idea of it's just being a bad movie. So that's ultimately why I decided to go with Noah on that one.
Interesting. All right. Andrea, where'd you go and why?
Okay, I also went with Noah because I would think he was able to emphasize a lot more on good aspects of his movie when compared to that of Madeeh's. So I'm gonna have to go with Noah on this one as well.
Okay, well, I believe that is gonna do it. Winner via score of 3-2 after the blind round. Noah McCausland pulling it out in the blind round. Noah, neither one of you guys wanted to go to this blind thing. You did it, man, and you pulled it out, man. How you feeling?
Not great. I think my best round was that last one, and that's saying
Okay.
something because I had time to prepare for all the other ones. Um, I feel like Madeeh squarely beat my ass the entire match, but I'm happy I won. I won't get that wrong. I'm not happy it went to the blind round because I hate the blind round. Not as much as Madeeh does apparently, but I still don't like it. But I'm glad I definitely came out with a win on this one.
Well, I got somebody else who wants to congratulate you and possibly talk about what your next steps will be here in the battleground. I'm going to bring him in right now if he's there. Mr. Aaron Knoll, Mr. Battleground himself, sir. Welcome. Jumping in.
Hello. How's it
Last
going?
second. Yeah, I've been hosting this thing the whole time, but I'm going to pass it over to you, sir, to wrap things up with our winner here, now going 6-4, having the same record now as Madeeh, 6-4 as well. It was a good match, sir. I'm glad you could join us. I'm going to back out and let you take things from here, Aaron.
Absolutely. Austin, first off, I want to say thank you to Austin over the last couple of weeks because these matches will all upload very staggeredly. He's covered a couple of uploads for me while I've been under the weather. So overall, since this is the last one that'll upload, thank you, sir, for helping out. Noah, how's it going, man? Looks
Good,
like
good.
just I don't know if it's the Battleground match you just played or the 2 weeks of training that have kicked your ass. I can't tell what hurt worse.
Both.
A little bit of both? A little
Both.
bit of both. Okay,
Yeah.
so shall we reward you with something you weren't even aware? Well, you were aware of was a possibility. As the public is aware of by this point, but you are not.
Okay.
John Maher did not defeat me in our matchup. I was able to take the victory in that match. And as I had previously distinguished, if he did not win that match, then the number one contendership, so to speak, would fall down to the winner of this match. And so
no.
by beating Madeeh tonight, you are now in a position where your next matchup will be to play for the number one contendership in this league. I feel like I punished you. Is that correct?
No, it just makes me nervous because I know I have to really prepare and up my game and get ready for it. And it's just, even though I want it, it's just stressful. I hope you understand that.
Okay. Do we want to just leave it there or should I make it a bit worse?
Go ahead, make it worse. Who is it?
All right. Returning to the battleground for the first time in 2023, your opponent is going to be former champion and a former competitor of yours, Joe Farrelly.
Of course,
who,
of course he is.
Earned a number one contenders match by placing in the finals of last year's tournament. For personal reasons, he has not been able to compete with us this year, but he is able to return, and it lined up with this stretch of matchups. Now, obviously, we've seen players before at this record make it to title matches. Pez himself just recently played a title match at a record of 7-4. So certainly it wouldn't be the first time that somebody who has had to kind of trade back and forth on wins and losses has gotten this far. How do you feel about having the chance to rematch against Joe? Definitely for sure an improved player with some more wins under your belt than in last year's tournament. Because you guys played... was it the fall tournament you guys played? Yes.
I think so. And I honestly can't remember what the end score of that was.
It was a blind round.
So that makes it 2 champions that I've gone to the blind round with.
Yes.
So if I can actually prepare for that match, which I will if I when it comes down to it, I feel like I can put on a better performance for myself. It may not necessarily be enough to beat him, but I know it's probably going to be my best one, just because of everything I've learned through this and just life in general. I feel like it's going to be a better matchup.
Absolutely, man. Well, yeah, as I said, I keep track of the stats. Obviously, you're 6-4 with one knockout there. But for what it's worth, your first two losses, which came early on in the league to myself and Henry Sanchez, as we unfortunately remember, where you had that weird knockout trade where it was like you lost by knockout, won by knockout, I think it was, and then you lost by knockout again. You had that weird trade-off at the start. Since then, you have only picked up wins. Your only two other losses are to previous and current champions. So I think certainly, even though your record may not reflect it, your matches certainly do. So I look forward to having you in that match. If I can leave you with one last bit of good news, it is a number one contenders match, which means there is no blind round. So at the very least, you don't have to play it again until you win or lose that match. Let's take something positive away from this. Till then, get some rest, man. I'll see you next time. I'll go ahead and bring in your opponent. I'm sad I missed this match, but I'm also glad I made it here. Madeeh, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Relatively
good.
Speaking.
Okay,
so for a second, when you said he's facing Joe, I was like, thank God I don't have to do with that shit again.
I was gonna say missed opportunity or praise God. What do we?
Here's the thing. I was praising God for a bit, and then you said there's no blind round, and I was like, God damn it, that would have been a lot more fun if I had known that. Listen, Joe's a hell of a competitor, man. As you kind of know behind the scenes, neither of us had a lot of time available the last little bit, and the fact that we were able to do this.
It's honestly what made this the fairest matchup I could come up with.
Yeah, right? Like, neither of them can prepare. They're both pretty good, and let's see who can bullshit better. And today, Noah got the best of me on the bullshit side. Like, what can I say? But no, Noah, give yourself some credit, man. This was a really fun match. I'm sweating. I'm wearing a white t-shirt, so that's all right. But yeah, no, this was fun, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And so obviously, at 6-4, you still got a pretty good record. At the very least, even if for whatever reason your next match is a loss, you'll pick up a low seed in the tournament should you want to. You're a busy guy, you may not. But what do you look forward to in that next matchup potentially? Is there anything in mind?
I swear if you say I'm facing Jeremy, I'm going to fly to Florida and beat the shit out of you. But it's other than that, no, like I'm honestly just excited to play, man. Like, you know how I am with these matches. Like, I enjoy.
Well, now I'm tempted because I feel like we could at least get a drink afterwards,
Yeah, probably. But look, I enjoy these matches. I love competing, and I love having, people to argue movies with. And there's been a lot of fun, like, since I started trying in Movie Battleground compared to my first bout of it. It's been a lot more fun where, you watch the movie. Sometimes you watch the movies and then, like, you're able to try and nitpick or, like, try and find good things about them and see what you can. But it just depends on the way the questions are, the way the judges roll. Today, maybe I probably would have given myself some that I didn't get, but that's just how it goes. But Noah's a great competitor, man. I wish him the best of luck against Joe. And whoever I'm facing next, just know you're going to have fun. At the very least, you're going to have fun. And then I'm going to try and push you, but that's all I can say at this point.
Fair enough. Hey, at 6-4, you've done a pretty good job at pushing people. So we will see what happens when that next one comes. So then,
my girlfriend
said
the same thing.
What the hell, dude? All right, we'll go ahead and sit you in the back, and we will close this thing out. Once again, thank you to both competitors. Congrats to Noah. Thanks to Madeeh. Thank you to my judges backstage in Nick, Andrea, and Ross. Thank you again to Austin, not just for this match, but for the last few matches he's filled in on over the last couple of weeks. It's been appreciated. For what it's worth, if anyone's curious, all those matches were recorded within like 3 days of each other. I just came down with a really nasty headache over those 3 days, so I just didn't want to sit in front of a camera. Feeling better now, so you'll see more of me suckers. But he's done a great job at covering me. And then, as always, be sure to stick around, tune in, check out the matches. Of course, we can plug Noah versus Joe coming in the near future. We can plug whatever the hell Madeeh's got coming in the future. And I guess if you want to see more of me on screen, I got matches coming up in the future. So check those out too. Until next time, guys, take care. Thank you.